I'd like to introduce you to my guest. He is Jim Armstrong, and he's Director of Transportation Development. Jim, it's good to have you back on our program again. So much has been happening, lots of large numbers we're going to talk about. But I want to help everybody understand what they just saw in the ceremony that was held recently for 61 and 17 Wesley Drive. This was a dedication of a completed program. And that goes on quite frequently these days, doesn't it?
Well, thank you, Cheryl. It's great to be with you again, as always. And we've had a very great spring and early summer with dedicating some of our larger bonded projects, like 1761 Wesley Drive and Glen McConnell 526 that have come online, and also Palmetto Commerce Parkway that we finished and dedicated earlier this year.
But the public, I don't think, really realizes that along with these larger projects that I'm calling bonded projects, right, because they seem to be a little bit larger. They're widenings and various things of that sort, putting in pedestrian walkways and all that. But there are also the smaller, maybe not so smaller projects that are called allocations projects. What are they?
Those are projects that historically have been selected by county council on an annual basis. And you're right, they're geared towards smaller projects that can be done in a quicker time frame, like resurfacing and minor intersection improvements and minor drainage improvements, bicycle and pedestrian facilities and things of that nature.
Now you're in charge of all of this. You're working with both the bonded projects and the allocations projects. You have a team of people, engineers who are working with you. Which seems to be the most important, if there is importance that we can put on small neighborhood projects versus larger projects that carry a lot more cars and trucks?
Well, you know, I like to think that each and every project that we have is extremely important because they all touch the taxpayers that are paying for the program. So I wouldn't put one project above another one because they're all extremely important, and we take each and every one of our projects very seriously.
And I see that, but they're moving along. The projects seem to be moving along with such great pace these days.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a secret behind that?
Well, you touched on it earlier. We've got a fantastic team, and each and every day we look for ways that we can save times and do things quicker. It's important to our citizens that are paying the tax bill that they see results. So we make every effort to do everything within the regulations that we have to work for, and we just concentrate on finding ways to do things better and faster.
And there's so many regulations. You've got to speak to the state of South Carolina. You've got to abide by the Army Corps of Engineers, and then you've got this whole slew of other people, and then design the project.
That's
all of that before we can get to what we just saw with Wesley.
That's correct. That is correct. And you know, typically that is a process, I think the industry standard, that process, once you begin a project before it goes to construction, is typically about 7 years. And by and large, we're ahead of that schedule. You know, it's 2011, we started in 2004, and we're finishing a large number of our projects. So that shows you how far ahead of the normal pace we are.
We have said in the past that we want to beat inflation if we can.
Absolutely.
And it's happening.
Yes,
and we have some really good news for you when we return from the break. You will not imagine the number of allocations projects that Jim just explained to you. That would be the neighborhood projects or smaller level projects, but important projects. You won't believe the number that's been completed already under the Transportation Sales Tax Program. We'll give you that in just a moment, so please don't call.